record because we have several ladies that haven't been on the last few days but still want to take part. So what I've been doing, just so you ladies know, is I'm going to create a playlist of the 5-day challenge, and so that you can go back and listen if you feel like, okay, because we really want, my hope for you guys, or you ladies, is that this is a tool that you can just continue to use. Anytime you feel like you're out of sorts, or you're just needing a little extra support, or just getting your feet back on the ground. Good morning, Taffy. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, Angie. I can't see everybody on one screen for some reason. So anyway, but I want you guys to be able to use this tool, because this has been the foundation for me. And it's a tool that I have created through my Becoming program. If you don't know, I haven't said much about that. It's at coachteresa.com, but this is kind of a foundation for how I started the Becoming program a year ago, is this particular challenge, and it really works super well in business and in life. So anyway, what I'd like to start this morning with is kind of like we started yesterday, was, how did that exercise of tracking your day go yesterday? And what did you notice? If anybody would like to share.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go first, and then you can voluntold somebody.
Okay.
The biggest thing for me that I noticed, because I had my day pretty well planned out, the biggest thing for me is that I honestly try to drink about 2 gallons of water every day. And I noticed that yesterday I only drank like 1 quart of water. And I know that sounds just like trivial, but to me, I just thought, how did I even survive that day? So that was the biggest one for me, because everything else was really, really structured. And the fact that I don't have an alarm on my phone to tell me to take a sip is probably going to have to change today when I'm that busy.
Yeah. So on those busy days, what things go to pot when life gets busy? And most of the time it's our health or something that's super important. Yeah. Thank you, Julie. Okay. Anyone else?
Hi, Teresa, it's Marshawn.
Hi.
I too struggle with the drinking of water. I do a lot of coffee and tea, so I guess that's how I justify it. But I'm busy. I'm really busy, and then I'm not. So, and then those hours that I'm not is getting absorbed by unproductive, mind-numbing TV series. Not gonna lie. So that's something that I want to change, and maybe designate one evening to just a binge watch. Like that's going to be the night, and that's it. And the rest of the time, either I'm going to yoga class at night, or I'm going to, work on Spanish. My son married a woman from Spain, and her family doesn't speak English, and we're going there in the summer for a big party. Yeah, big party. And so I need to work on that. So those are things that I'd like to kind of implement. And I've known this, but I just haven't. It wasn't in my face to go, I need to take an action step.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Marshan. Thank you. Okay. That brings up such a great point. And how many of us are the queens of procrastination, and we feel like we do our best work under pressure? Anybody resonate with that? Why are we those kind of beings? What makes us strive to be like that? Until, I love what you said, unless it's in your face, you're not going to do anything about it. And that's where this exercise this week really will hold us in that space of, when we are so attached to the future that we're creating, it pulls us and gives us the desire to show up and do the things that we need to do. And one of the things this last year that, just to share a little bit more about me, is that stepping into coaching, is completely different than being our ranch, right? So you have to learn a whole new platform. We have a CRM. We've had to learn marketing skills. I've had to put programs together. I've had to and to say that I'm not doing all the other things is not true, because I still have our ranch. I still have my regenerative stem cell program that we do. I'm also a health coach. I'm a mom. We travel. We've been traveling for the last 6 weeks. And so I have had to create time in my schedule to learn about navigating a CRM, about creating a program. That was not things I knew how to do. And so when we were looking at our day yesterday, okay, where are we putting our time? And then we're thinking about the future that we want to create. If we are constantly running in, I'll do it later, are we really going to get there? Are we really going to grow to that person? And so that's where those white spaces that we're looking for are so important, because we actually have to put time in to becoming more, to growing. Because remember, the day one, we talked about the only thing that we have to draw from is our past experiences. But our past experiences are what got us here. Our past experiences are not necessarily going to get us over here to where we want to be. It's learning new things, growing, personal development, these kinds of things that are going to get us into that future self. So I think that really launches us off. Marcianne, thank you for sharing this morning and being vulnerable. I know it's hard in these environments because you're like, I don't really, and if you didn't do it, it's like, you guys, it's okay. Again, this week is not about judging ourselves for what we did and didn't do. It's really just about showing up in a space of being open and just taking in the information. Whatever needs to settle on you will settle on you. You will take away whatever you need to hear this week. And so whether you do the exercise or not, or you're just present for the calls, that's okay. You are going to take something away this week. So and we already talked about the question I was going to ask is, did everybody drink some water yesterday? So thank you for sharing that, Julie. And you guys, that's just a great reminder. So, when we talk about the non-negotiables, so that is today, I feel like nod or put in the chat, yes, I understand. We put more time into planning a vacation than our life and creating the future that we really desire. And, when I realized that having the schedule helped remind me to remind, good, Catherine. When we think about what it is that we want in that future, and remember the wheel of life that I showed you guys, much of your life, because you ladies own your own business, is very, very much vision focused on your business. So much of the other areas of your life may not be getting any or a minor amount of attention. So when and that was me too, because I spent so many years building my ranch business that every ounce of energy was spent there. So I had a lot of imbalance in my life. And when people talk about work-life balance, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that's all a bunch of hooey anyway. So I think it's all depending on the area of growth that you're working on. And so take that into account this week, ladies, that when you're growing somewhere, it's going to require 80% of your energy. And so some things, that's why it's important to have the non-negotiables in your life, so that those stay same, those stay constant, no matter what is happening. So if life is happening, or you're building somewhere, you're building in your business, maybe you're working on your marriage, maybe you're working in your spirituality, maybe you're like me, we're working on technology. We know that a lot of our energy is going to go into that area. But if our non-negotiables are super clear, we are not going to drop the ball on our marriage. We're not going to drop the ball on showing up for our kids. We're not going to drop the ball on our health. We are going to show up well as we're still building and growing. Shake your head if that makes sense, or you're like, Teresa, there's no way I could even fathom that, to have it all. Because here's the thing. Remember when, and Taffy, you can bring up our first slide. Remember when it went through, thank you, sweetheart, for doing that. Those days where it was the mom in all of the magazines in the 70s that she could do all things, and she looked perfect while she was cooking the food and all of that. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, that you make everything from scratch, and you know, she could still go to her job and take care of the husband. And you know, I look at that and I'm thinking, okay, but you know, I really believe that that is possible if that's what's important to you and if that's what you're choosing to do. So knowing that whatever is important to you, you will show up for and is, what did you say? Fabergé. I would have to have you say that out loud, and you might have to explain that to me. But
can you see my screen?
I can't see the slide. No.
Okay.
But one of the things I want us to encourage us is that knowing that your future is calling you, and that your time from when you were born to now was a season, and your time from now to when we leave this earth is a different season. And you can choose today that whatever was in your past, you know, it's served its purpose, but now stepping into the future, maybe it looks different, you know, as we're stepping into this year of empowerment. And so one of the things today is making your list of absolutes and your non-negotiables. So all of you have this sheet, okay? And one of the things that I want to encourage you guys to think about in your non-negotiables is when we did that wheel of life, the areas, you know, when you look at that, what are the things in your life that are absolute? That you absolutely, when the day goes by, when you lay your head on the pillow, you want to make sure that you have done. And so for me, it's exercise. I need to move my body every single day. This morning, I got out of bed and I'm at an unknown place. I put my tennis shoes. I went outside for a nice brisk walk. I bring my yoga mat with me everywhere. And it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes, 15 minutes. It is just something I do. I also spend time in prayer and read my Bible. Did that this morning. I journaled. I spent time meditating about this call. Those are things that I'm just, you know, because I know how I show up the first 30 to 60 minutes of my day is going to set up my day. I also drank a glass of water. I had a cup of coffee. Every day I'm going to put amino acids and good nutrition into my body first thing out the gate. Those are just things that are non-negotiable in my life. The other thing too is to talk to my kids every single day in the morning before I start my day, and my husband, because I would not want the day to go by and something to happen in our world and I didn't have an opportunity to tell them I love them. So that is something that's a non-negotiable every single day. And another non-negotiable is before my eyes open, I wake up, my feet don't even hit the floor, and I step into gratefulness. So those are the things for me that are non-negotiable. Now, you don't need to be anything like me at all. I'm just saying, you know, your day may be different. What's important to you may be different. But what I encourage you to do is when you think about aligning your true self to your true north, to your future, you know, we often are so concentrated on what our business is and what we're trying to gain and the house that we're trying to buy and the vacation that we're trying to get on, that we are not even showing up in our true selves every day. And when we're not in that place, we are in a place of the if game. If life were different, if it weren't so hard, if I had more money, if my husband supported me more, if I had a different job, or if the job wasn't so hard, da-da-da-da-da. And the list goes on and on. Instead of being grateful, thankful, I've taken care of myself so that the things that I'm building are just going to be awesome because I'm awesome. I show up in awesomeness, and so it attracts to me, if that makes sense to you ladies. Next slide, Taffy. So today's exercise is this. Oh, that was an oops, Taff. It's the same page as the other page, huh? I need to take that page out. Okay, so today we're going to sit down a little bit and we're going to make our list from our day yesterday. So looking at your day yesterday, looking at your wheel of life from the day before and the areas that you want to work on. And I want you to be really clear. When you write something on this paper, I want you to make sure that you've asked yourself these questions. Is this something I chose? Or is this something that was chosen for me? Is it something I want to do to grow myself, my business, have a better life with my family, my children, my husband, if you have those? Or is it just something I said yes to because I had to? And whether it's a have to, a need to, or a want to, I want you to ask yourself those questions. Because so often in life, it's like a Ferris wheel. We got on, it started circling around, and there was no place to stop it and put our feet on the ground. And so we just because it would take energy, and we're running in overwhelm. So can we put our foot on the ground for a minute and say, you know what? I'm taking the reins back in my life. Maybe it got out of control for a while, and I'm choosing now that the rest of the life on earth, from here I am now till the end, I'm going to show up differently. I'm going to show up in a way that is aligned to me, not out of guilt and obligation and have tos, but in want tos on a daily basis. You can take that down, Taffy. And I know you might be saying, well, it's just too hard for me to think about right now. It's too hard for me to pause. It's too hard for me to even take out a pen and paper. If that's you, guess what? I see you. I see you. I see that. I've been that. I understand that. And there's no judgment here. This week is just about encouraging you to decide for yourself if where you are today, in 5 years from now, well, even in a year from now, if nothing changes, are you okay with that? Or if you're not, no, it just takes baby steps is what we're showing you this week. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. There is no perfect world out there. I'm just saying that I know that the person that I am today, because of the choices that I have made over the last 8 years, and even just a year ago, a month ago, are helping me to step into peace and calmness. I think the biggest thing that I wanted out of my life was peace. I was tired of living in chaos. I was tired of letting everything else be important and not the things that I really needed for me to show up in my life well. And no, at the end of the day, when you write your eulogy, nobody's going to care about how big your business was, or how big your house is, or or how pretty your yard is, or any of that. None of that is going to matter. What's going to matter is how you showed up for yourself and the impact that you created for you, that you were created for. So I hope today that this next exercise, which builds on tomorrow. So we're going to put the structure, the white spaces, the things to want to, and the things that you've decided for yourself that just you're definitely going to have in your days. And I'm going to show you ways to structure your life so that you can start adding the things that are really important to you and that align with your true north for you tomorrow. So I hope this is helpful for you today, ladies. And I look forward to hearing tomorrow morning about how this worked for you. Before we hop off, I'm just going to pause.